Hey, my name's Jack, and we got two more Ascendancy classes for the Legacy of Phrecia event. This time, we got the Architect of Chaos left and Disciple of Trialmaster for the Templar, and we got the Servant of Arakaali for the Shadow. Let's start with the Templar. So, we got an Ascendancy based on the Trialmaster, or better said, the Architect of Chaos. Looks like we can go 5 arms. So, good of it. Nothing is hidden behind another arm, mostly, which is really good. Let's start clockwise. We start with the post order. Reduce soul 50% reduce soul game prevention duration, 286 increase Val skill, critical strike chance. So the 50% reduced soul game prevention duration is actually really good because there's other items which also give this and which stack, which might be able you to hit like a very low threshold on your soul gain prevention, maybe even less than a second, where you can pretty much just continuously use your Val skill. That's really good because there's like certain Val skills like Val Earthquake, like Val Cold Snap, which are really good for like speed clear. Um, and then Val increased Val critical strike chance, like 286% is like a lot, right? Sadly, this is more, and it's also not base critical strike chance, it's increased. So this is based on your already existing critical strike chance, but like on your base critical strike chance. But nonetheless, this is still pretty good because still 286% is like a lot. So very good, very good. Impure Blood skills cost life instead of mana. That is very good. Because with this you can do like you can do like full like mana reserve builds. You can also do mind over meta builds, and you can also do some archmage stuff with this, right? Where you use your life instead of your mana. um I think this is really good, and this is something that I've been wanting in the game for a long time, because most of the time it is the fact that mana is just completely reserved. And then it's that old fucking game of let's fix the mana, right? Life region is a lot easier to get than mana region, and life region is also better than mana region because you can hit higher numbers, and at a certain point in life region you pretty much just out region the damage you take if you have enough damage reduction. So I think this is really good. Really good. Like this is like build enabling stuff. I know there's like certain items which have like life cost stuff on it. So there might be some unique builds like coming out with this node. Hewn Flesh. Skills reserve life instead of mana. Increase life reservation. 100% increase life reservation efficiency. 100% is crazy. Like that is like insane. Like this right here, these two, I think Aura Bot is coming back. Like this is a perfect node for Aura Bot. But and also you can do some pain attunement with this, where you just purposefully put yourself on low life, and then you just slap on like energy shield, and you're good, right? That is really good. And also it's like this node is better than blood magic because blood magic takes away your mana bar. This one doesn't do that, right? This one, like, you still have your mana bar, which means you can do mind over matter too. This one is like you can do energy shield plus mind over matter. Like this one is really good. I'm actually gonna I'm actually gonna make like a low life build and see how it goes. That's really good. Dissolution removes all energy shield. Life that would be lost by taking damage is instead reserved until you take no damage to life for 1 second. Right. So that is pretty much petrified blood. That's pretty much how that works. It's also that one amulet which everybody uses. Something destiny. Good Ascendancy for sure. Forbidden Secrets, Everlasting Sacrifice, Shepherd of Souls. So these two are Everlasting Sacrifice, and the other one is Shepherd of Souls. Everlasting Sacrifice, when I reach full energy shield, Second force, all energy shield to gain +5 to all maximum resistance for 4 seconds. That's pretty good. And Shepherd of Souls. Normally, these key sounds you can only get. Oh, this one's one that wasn't in the game anymore. Val non-aura skills have 80% less soul cost. Oh, Val non-aura skills have 100% increased soul cost per Val skill used in the past 8 seconds. There's like another one which modifies the way you use your Val. So pretty much you have like this is 80% less, right? Less is like an end multiplier. So this one's better than decreased. And this is only increased and not more. So this heavily outweighs this node, which means this is like stacking. You continuously use your bar skill and it like starts to ramp, like this cost of the souls like start to ramp, but nonetheless, like this Shepherd of Souls together with the reduced soul gain prevention one is really, really good. And I'm thinking there's gonna be some Val skill gem builds like coming out of like these two right here. Especially because Everlasting Sacrifice, like +5% to all res is really good. Like maximum all res. Fewer of Corruption, increased Val skill effect duration. Val skills require 50% reduced souls per use. Wow. Okay, so that's another stacking. Really good as well. Really good as well. That's especially good for Wall Earthquake and Wall Cold Snap and stuff like that, which you want to like have the duration as long as possible. So the duration outlasts the cooldown of the Val skill gem, right? And the soul gain prevention. Chaos Reigns, +3 level of all Val skills gems. That's also really nice. Especially for Val Summon Skeleton. So you can hit breakpoints on the skeletons for maximum amount of skeletons. Really good, but this is pretty much good for all skill gems, right? Levels is always good. You want levels, always. Glimpse Chaos, increase maximum life for each corrupted item equipped. 12% increased maximum energy for each corrupted item equipped. -4% to all resistance for each corrupted item equipped. Again, stop putting in negative modifiers. It's bad game design. This is actually good if it didn't have the negative modifier, because it would stack with the corrupted version of Vault's Vision, which gives you stats based on how many corrupted items you have equipped. 8% increase and 12% increase maximum energy shield. How many slots do you have? So you have got, like, let's say you have 2 weapons, which is so 2 helmet, 3 chest, gloves, boots, belt. Then you got ring, amulet. So you can hit like 9, and then you can also do like additional corrupted jewels, right? And then it's like depends on how many jewel slots you have. So you can hit like a good amount of these. So you can hit like ×10 if you have like all corrupted items plus a jewel, which would be like 80% increased maximum life, which is really, really good. Nonetheless, that would also mean -40 to all resistances. So you need extraordinarily good rolls on your items for resistances, or have some kind of like tech where you hit like max resistances. Probably Purity of Elements might be like worth it to do this together with Hewn Flesh, and then like have Purity of Elements allocated to outweigh this negative. I'd say overall this Ascendancy is really good, and there's gonna be a lot of builds coming out of this one. It has a lot of like potential, especially with Val skill gems. Normally Val skill gems like can't really be used because they just like the soul gain prevention duration is just so high, and the amount of souls that you need to activate them. So by the time you can activate them, the map is pretty much over. I think there's gonna be some interesting stuff being, especially with like these 2 nodes over here, down here, Hewn Flesh and Pure Blood. Some interesting painted human, like mind over matter builds. Really good. Let's look at the Shadow one, Servant of Arakaali. Starting clockwise, starting with this one, Skin Crawlers. Minions have 50% chance to poison enemies on hit. Minions have 10% chance to inflict wither on hit. That's really good because it uses poison, especially for the what is it called, Arakaali's Fang build, which summons spiders, right? So that is it's an easy way for minions to get poison. It's really good. And I think like 10% is not a lot, but you have so many spiders with that build that it like 10% is actually way more. Like if you have like 10 plus minions hitting all at the same time, some minion is gonna hit with it. Root Guard triggers level 20 raised spiders on kill. Okay, so instead of we needing to use Arakaali's Fang, now we can use actually any other weapon. Arakaali's like the raised spider build is gonna be really big then, because normally you have to use the dagger, and the dagger is actually not that great. If you can use any other weapon, that means like this build is gonna ramp really hard. Neurotoxin. Minions have plus 5% to critical strike multiplier per wither debuff on enemy. The maximum of wither debuff, for those who don't know, is 15. So this is 75% at maximum wither debuff, which is a lot. Minions base attack critical strike chance is equal to the critical strike chance of your main hand weapon. So that's actually pretty good. So once upon a time there was an item called Iron Mass, and this item, like the maybe with a space, the idea behind it was really good. It's an item where you summon skeletons with copies of this weapon, right? So they would have a critical strike chance base of 5%. But the thing is, with summons work differently. Summons work differently. I don't think this is honestly that great, because with this item we've already seen that when you give like your minions like a copy of your weapon, it actually goes worse, because the physical damage that minions do is higher than the base damage of the weapon, but it doesn't like copy, it only copies the crit chance. So I think the highest base is daggers, and I think daggers can reach like 7.5%. Yeah, 7.5. And then there's some unique daggers which have like additional base crit chance, which is, for example, Godrill. Right, so Godrill is 9.75%. You could, for example, wield this, and your minions would have 9.75% base critical strike chance, which is pretty high. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. Pretty good node, actually. All three of these nodes like are like basically the Arakaali's Fang raised spider build. Then Thread Spinner, grand level 30 aspect of the spider skill. I do not remember what aspect of the spider is. It's been a long time. This one is from Bestiary. So while active periodically applies a spider's web debuff to nearby enemies and hinders them. Each spider's web on enemy increases the damage they take. Hinder reduces the movement. What's the maximum in this? Increase the maximum number of web stacks by 1. But what is the like maximum? Oh, it's right here. It's so technically you can hit 5, and then 5% increased damage taken, and then so that's 25% increased damage taken. That's actually pretty good. Increased damage taken is a rare modifier that you rarely get to use. Enemies affected by your spider's web deal 50% reduced damage. Enemies affected by your spiders will have minus 15 to all resistance. Wow. That's like minus 15 all res. That's like the elemental mastery. Like, what's it called when you use like wave conviction stuff? That like 15% is like a lot. That's like additional. It's pretty good. And I think the reduced damage is also really good. You can always use something like that. I mean, it's not like it's not 50% less. It's reduced, so it's not that good, but it's still like a nice note. Then we got Fatal Bite. Gain 30% of physical damage with extra chaos damage while at maximum power charges. Right, so this used to be on Scepters pretty much, and everybody would stack like the extra chaos damage, and then you would just like do whole chaos damage, and you would just convert everything. It's not that great. There's other modifiers which have higher increased chaos damage, extra chaos damage. 20% chance to gain a power charge when hitting an enemy affected by spiders. Now that is good. Like easy power charge generation is always really good. In the other charge generation too. This is especially good because there's certain skills which you can like consume power charges to forego the cooldown. For example, like a replica version of Cold Snap, for example, has that. And there's also the other version of Flicker Strike, which actually uses power charges too. So that one's really nice. Malevolent Strands grants level 15 Envy skill. Envy has no reservation. For those who don't know, Envy is the Chaos version aura, pretty much. That adds Chaos damage to the attacks and spells of you and your allies, which you can see right here. It's not super much, but it's still pretty good. This table is not correct. Oh, okay, so level 15 corresponds to level 2 values. Like, the values are not that great. It's still like a good amount of base damage, nonetheless. Weaver's Contrition grants level 20 penance mark. Yeah, a lot of ability, like ascendants which give other skills. Curse a single enemy, causing them to spawn multiple phantasms when hit. The phantasms will be allies of the marked enemy with the same monster level. They cast a projectile spell which deals physical damage and are immune to curse or knockback. You can only have one mark at a time. Normally granted by the hateful accuser. Okay. So that's pretty good. Like, you make phantasms when hitting the enemy that is marked. Immune to curse, immune to cast projectile. That's actually really good. That might be really good for like minion builds for some extra clear. Overall, I think this Ascendancy has some good stuff in it. But if I compare this one to this one, I think the Servant of Arakaali is a bit more niche and not as good as the Architect of Chaos. And that's all the Ascendancies that were new. If you liked the video, leave a like, leave a subscribe. See you around.